Hello there, my name is Cotton. This time, I will talk about Yasuke Issue and about Mr. Thomas Lockley. This is not a game topic, but if you would like, please watch to the end. About Thomas Lockley's lecture. The fact that Thomas Lockley will be giving a lecture next January was just recently discussed in Japan. This one has already been cancelled due to many people inquiring about it. As I will discuss later, his interpretation of Yasuke is full of errors and not historical fact. I think it is good that the lecture was cancelled to prevent the spread of false historical views. But since he had not appeared publicly for the past several months, it was the only opportunity to hear his current views. In this regard, I regret that the lecture was cancelled. Refutation of the theory that Yasuke is a samurai. Thomas Lockley has overly heroic portrayal of Yasuke as a samurai. However, this is very different from the historical facts in Japan. Many people have already explained about Yasuke, but I would like to introduce a very good book on Yasuke that has been published. The book is called The Real Yasuke: History Beyond the Samurai Myth by Dr. Alaric Node. Dr. Alaric Node specializes in social linguistics and is a professor of a Korean university. The book carefully examines the Yasuke samurai theory and refutes it. The book examines Yasuke from the perspective of Japanese culture and language, etc., and is very easy to understand. I think one of the values of this book is that it was written by a foreign scholar. Now, misinterpretations of Yasuke are spreading abroad, and there are misunderstandings about Japan's history. However, if we examine historical sources and study Japanese history, we will understand that Yasuke was not a samurai. Dr. Alaric Node tells us through this book that the Yasuke samurai theory is strange from a non-Japanese point of view too. I appreciate his work on this issue. Thank you. The Real Yasuke: History Beyond the Samurai Myth is available on Amazon. Please see the link. Comments from person with knowledge of Thomas Lockley's past. I received a comment on the first video I posted on this issue from someone who knows Thomas Lockley's past. Fortunately, I was able to exchange emails with that person around October, and I asked him what he remembered about Thomas Lockley. Let's say the person is Mr. A. The following is the content of that email. I'm Mr. A from your YouTube comments. I don't think I am going to have the answers you are looking for. Really, I just wanted to show support for your video that was very well made. From what I am reading online, the general public of Japan have already learned so much more about the man than I ever did. I was the coordinator for assistance language teachers at the Tottori Board of Education. My role was to pass on instructions to ALTs in the Tottori area from the BOE. Thomas was under our guidance for that period of time. During those years, we would get negative feedback from the Japanese teachers that he was assisting. It was said that he was ignoring instructions and going above his role as an assistant. Because of his insubordination, his contract was terminated. In the mid-2000s, I was employed at the Chiba BOE. A friend of mine was a professor at Kanda University and had asked me to do a guest lecture for his students. It was then that I learned that Thomas was currently employed at Kanda as well. I didn't question my friend about the university employing Thomas as it was none of my business. But I was surprised that someone who had failed as an ALT was able to work at a university as prestigious as Kanda. At the BOE, we govern high schools and elementary schools in Chiba. The last I heard of anything relating to Thomas before I retired was that his version of history was ignored and forbidden from entering the high school curriculum. That really is the totality of my interactions with the man. I guided many ALTs during my career and barely remember most of them. I guess his name just remained in my mind due to his poor performance and his current infamy. I would prefer my name not be made public. I just wish you all the very best. Your content is very good. 日本語訳はこちらです。Next, here is my reply. This is my question. Specifically, what kind of things was he doing? If you remember any particular episodes, please let me know. What was his version of history like? If you remember, please tell me. Why was his performance as an ALT poor? Was the main reason that he ignored instructions? 日本語訳はこちらです。Next, I'm not really sure if my professional relationship would prove beneficial to the current issue as I had only known his work as an ALT and not as a professor. The role of an ALT, especially in elementary school, is to assist the teacher. The Japanese teacher is the main teacher. The ALT just follows their instructions on what to do. Instead of assisting, he would instead insist on taking over the classroom. In a high school environment, the Japanese teachers may find this appropriate, but only when they instruct the ALT to do so. In an elementary school setting, the role of the ALT is just to be playful and quite often just having the children repeat after them. In a way, we felt he was taking the role far too seriously for children of that age. So, we at the BOE would receive the feedback from the Japanese teachers that he wasn't always following their instructions. And in turn, we would provide instructions to him on how he should perform his role. This is basically just the revelation of his version of events regarding the character of Yasuke. There are annual discussions on the curriculum for the next year of education. One such decision is textbooks. They were adamant that this version of history not be present in any of the educational material. Yes, just as I said above, The role of the ALT is to assist the Japanese teacher. He had failed this on several occasions. It would be unfair to say his past has any reflection on his role as a professor. It's more just a note of surprise that someone who in theory had a poor performance could transition to something so high in stature. I have no direct knowledge of this further education after his ALT role, nor do I know the vetting process of the universities he has been employed by. He could have improved so much that maybe he is qualified for those roles. I can't say one way or the other. 日本語訳はこちらです。Next, here is my reply. That's all for the email communication. I sincerely appreciate his thoughtful response. Thank you. Since there is no evidence that Mr. A was a colleague of Mr. Lockley's, we cannot be certain that the entire story is true. However, I believe that Mr. A was indeed a colleague of Mr. Lockley, as there is no discrepancy in Mr. Lockley's background that has been investigated by Japanese volunteers. Hearing about his past from Mr. A gave us an insight into the character of Thomas Lockley. It's a guess on fragmentary information. I would guess that Mr. Lockley is assumptive and inflexible. His episodes from his ALT days give the impression of a man who never bends on what he thinks is right and causes trouble for those around him. Of course, this was an episode more than 20 years ago, so it is possible that he has grown as a person. But if his nature has not changed, then his strong promotion of the Yasuke Samurai theory is due to his vices. Strong assumptions are a fatal flaw for researchers. This is because it narrows the field of vision and makes claims that are not well argued. And his views on Yasuke had already been rejected from the Japanese high school curriculum. This means that it was an impossible view of history from a Japanese educational field perspective. The average person would think they were wrong if their theory was not accepted into the high school curriculum. In particular, he is a foreigner who is not a historian. How can he think he is right when there is insufficient verification of other countries' histories? If any of you support Thomas Lockley's theory, please think again about whether he is really credible. What we want from Thomas Lockley. The theory that Yasuke is a samurai is becoming propaganda. This is an issue that can only create disadvantages for Japan. Thomas Lockley is responsible for explaining this, as he is one of the people responsible for creating this issue. He will need to go out in public and explain himself. If he still believes that Yasuke is a samurai, the Japanese will refute him and his book will lose its power as a basis if he admits his mistake. I ask Mr. Thomas Lockley, please explain this issue from your own mouth. I also ask that people associated with Mr. Thomas Lockley. If you can contact him, please urge him to fulfill his responsibilities. If you want to disseminate information on YouTube or elsewhere, please try reaching out to Japanese YouTubers. I recommend Mr. Pukta and Mr. Editor who focus on current affairs. I think it would help to spread information more widely. Thank you for watching so far. I had not planned to make another video about the Yasuke issue, but I hope this video will help to solve the problem. If you think this video is good, I would appreciate it if you could click the like button and share this video. Thank you.